Sometimes a single yet profound question can pull us up off the floor of despair. I found myself there one day when my world had come crashing down. I had all the elements: childhood trauma, having gone through my divorce, having gone through cervical cancer. I was in a profession that I didn't think was for me. I had officially been diagnosed with clinical depression and a generalized anxiety disorder. Mentally, I was fighting for my life. Everything culminated, and I collapsed under the weight of it. But what pulled me up off of that floor was remembering a single yet profound question. A question whose answer would ultimately shape my future into one of continued suffering or me stepping into my fullest potential and power. A question that spoke straight to the heart of the issue. A question that is both universally powerful and provocative. A question that every human could ask themselves. And that question is, are you a cheetah or are you a dog? What? That's not your most powerful question in your darkest of moments? Well, it was mine. And if you've ever read Glennon Doyle's book, Untamed, you know the cheetah and the dog's story. And if you don't, it goes like this. The author takes herself and her family to a safari park. When they get to the safari park, her daughter wants to go to a cheetah run. When they get to this cheetah run, you see a Labrador retriever being brought out first. The dog is doing everything that the zookeeper is telling it to do. You look behind and you see a massive cheetah watching every single move that dog makes. The reason for that is because the zookeepers trained this cheetah its entire life next to this dog since it was a baby, because they wanted to tame it. But if the cheetah would just remember for 1 second its wildness, it would realize that it could rip those zookeepers to shreds. But the cheetah can't see that because what's reflecting back to it is a dog, since it was a baby. The key is, do we recognize that we're a cheetah, or do we think that we are a dog? We have to pay attention to what we are comparing ourselves to and what we are listening to, even when there is evidence to the contrary. When I realized this in that moment of despair when I was on the floor, I thought about what another author talks about, which is the roommate in your head. And the roommate in your head is that voice that you probably let dictate your entire life, that you never turn off. You listen to everything that it says. The roommate in our head and the dog are the same. If you haven't had a moment like this in your life yet, most of us in business or just as humans will. What I am going to share with you today are the 3 steps that I took when I could have sworn I was a dog, but I was a freaking cheetah. Number 1, ownership. We laid down on that floor all by ourselves. If you're like me, you probably brought a blanket and snacks because it's going to take you a minute to get up. We have to take ownership. It's no one else's fault. Own it. Once we do that, the beautiful thing is no one is in control of us. When things happen to us, the reasoning is from us putting out an energy into the universe. And that universe brings it back to us. What happens to us is what was attracted to us. Number 2, bargaining. We are going to replace our natural resistance to change with bargaining. We are also going to bargain with that roommate in our head. Yes, I'm asking you to talk to yourself, and what makes you crazy is I want you to answer yourself, okay? We are going to bargain with that roommate in our head that hears you say in the morning, I'm gonna have the best day. I have a schedule full of patients, I'm gonna kill it. The voice in your head goes, yeah, right. I'll talk to you at the end of the day. Valid, all right. I'm gonna make it to lunch. And I am going to see every single patient on time. I'm gonna make them feel special, and I am at least going to make it to lunch. Keeping little promises to ourselves makes it to where we start to develop trust with ourselves, and we can then start to keep big promises to ourselves. And when we do that, we have number 3. We are going to commit. We are going to get up off that floor and commit to those little promises and those big promises, one step at a time, one bite out of the elephant at a time. Because if we can break integrity with ourselves, we are capable of breaking that integrity with anyone we are trying to help along the way. Little bites out of the elephant at a time. We've all had a weird and difficult couple of years, okay? But there is a time coming when COVID will be a distant memory. History shows us that over and over and over again. There's going to be the next big thing that life is going to hand to us. The next big financial tragedy. The next big business tragedy. The next big personal tragedy. And when life hands us these things, we are going to remember the 3 steps that are going to pull us up off of that floor. We are going to step into our full power. We are going to take ownership. We are going to keep that ownership and recognize it, because we may not be responsible for what happened to us, but we are absolutely responsible for what it's doing to us in the present. We are going to bargain, because no one is in control of our mind. That's us. It always will be us. And we are going to commit, because we will not break integrity with ourselves, because we are freaking cheetahs. We are going to roar back into our fullest potential as humans, and we are going to be that human that we always were and that we always will be. My name is Loren King. Thank you.